So the point of this exercise was to help you to understand the process that's got to go on in your head to actually record transactions in the general ledger. What we're going to do now is we're going to shoot across to the general ledger, and here we have the general ledger. Sorry, it looks quite busy, but that's not a problem. We're only going to look at a few of the transactions. Let's look at the first one. We debited bank. Remember I said to you debit was on the on the left side, and credit was on the right side. Well, we've already learned the rules here. I debit bank with 1,000, so I go to my bank, and on the debit side I put 1,000. Now the credit account was capital, so there's my capital. That's another account in the general ledger. It's got an account number GL2. Can you see I've credited it? Let's look at the income from the services rendered, the 2,500. We debited bank, there's the debit, and we created an income account called sales from services. We call it GL5, there I've credited it. You can't see the word income here. You know it's an income account, and that's where you find the rule from, because you know, oh, it's an income account, income is increasing equity, therefore I must credit it. Then let's look at the petrol. The petrol was an expense. What happened to the bank? It decreased the bank. How do you decrease an asset? With a credit. So if we go and have a look here, there's the petrol of 250. Now, whenever there's a credit, there's got to be a debit somewhere else. If we go down to petrol, excuse me, there's the debit of 250 Rand. So all I've done is I've learnt how to debit and credit accounts from the spreadsheet, this accounting equation worksheet. But we normally record transactions via journals, which we'll discuss at a later date, into the general ledger. Now one last thing before we go, let's just quickly balance off this account in the general ledger, the bank account. So we can cheat here. You can see there's 3,505 here. So I'm going to delete that. And forget that this line is here for a moment. So the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to add up to see which side is the larger of the two. Forget about the 3,225 here, it's coming in just now. So that's 3,505. The larger side is 3,505. Now, I've got to force balance this thing. So 3,505 less 280 is 3,225. Now you can see this is the balance carried down. That's to force balance it. Okay. What's important is the opposite side of this entry. This is the carry down, this is the brought forward. This is the balance that we take to the next month. In other words, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that the debit side is bigger than the credit side before you put this entry in. You can see that the debit side is bigger than the credit side. That means it's got a debit balance. Now it's an asset with a debit balance. It means it's a favorable balance. It's money that we have at the bank. So that's what we start the next month with, 3,225. That's the opening balance for the next month. Now just one last thing. If you have a look over here, here's our trial balance. You can see there's a list of accounts. There's my bank. It's got a debit balance of 3225. Now you should actually be able to go and finish off this list, record the entries in the general ledger, and finish off this list. And when you're finished, your balances should be 18755 on either side. In the next section, I'll show you how to actually produce a set of financial statements from this trial balance over here.